380 ACP versus 38 Special+P. What we have today is our Underwood ammunition loader with XTPs. Now you might notice that the 380 ACP is not a +P, it's a standard pressure, and the 38 Special is. The reason why I did that is because those are within specifications. I sometimes get a lot of people, basically scream typing that I did not do a fair test, as if that is something I'm doing. That's not my point. My point is comparisons, not competitions. But 380 ACP is a 90 grain XTP, and under SAMI spec there is no +P, so that would be my first choice when it comes to testing an Underwood 380 ACP round. And the 38 Special is a +P, and +P is SAMI spec, so again that would be my first choice when testing something like that. Plus, with +P 380, you never know exactly what the pressures are because there's not a set standard. So it's not something I want to do until I kind of see how the standard pressure does, and then I might move on from there. But there's still a lot of caution with using 380 ACP +P. So our 380 ACP is a 90 grain XTP, and our 38 Special +P is a 125 grain +P. Rate of velocity is 1,025 on our 380 and 1,250 on our 38 Special. So we are going to go through the chronograph, see what I actually get for those numbers through my particular guns. And by the way, I'm using a Smith & Wesson Shield Easy with the 3.68 inch barrel versus our Taurus 856 38 Special with a 3-inch barrel. And then I'm going to go through our clear ballistic test here. We got just plain clear ballistics, and that'll give us our best potential. There's not going to be any denim on the front. There's nothing like that. We're just going to go into plain clear ballistics and see what our best potential is of those cartridges. And then after that, I'm going to do something that's more of a real world simulation where we have 4 layers of denim on the front, 3 inches of clear ballistics to represent hitting a pectoral muscle. And by the way, clear ballistics is about half as dense as actual tissue, so that's like an 1.5 inch pectoral muscle. Then I'm going to put in a 1/4 inch medium density fiberboard to represent hitting ribs or sternum, and that'll give us more of our real world comparison. And then I'm going to shoot at my steel silhouette and see what kind of practical accuracy I can get. So let's get started with this test. All right, first up we have our 380 ACP. It is rated at 1,025 feet per second. I don't know what barrel length they use to get that, but I'm about 5 yards from the target, 4 yards from the chronograph. Let's see how close I get to 1,025 feet per second. 996, 992, 959. I'll read 969, 968. Let me go one more. 905. That was not very consistent with that last one there. So our 38 Special, it is rated at 1,250 feet per second. I believe Underwood does use a 6-inch barrel for that. But let's see how close I get to 1,250 in my 3-inch Taurus 856 here. 1210, a lot of recoil. 1212, 1217, 1196, 1231. So very powerful round. And one thing about Underwood I have noticed is they do tend to load semi-automatic cartridges a lot more consistently and powerfully than revolver cartridges. However, the 38 Special specifically seems to be a very powerful and consistent round, even though like their 357 mag and their 44 mag is kind of weak. When it comes to 38 Special, Underwood's a pretty good deal for what you get for power. So let's hit our ballistics gel block with these and see what we get. All right, plain gel, just our best potential shot here. Let's see what we get with our 380 ACP. All right, out of ammo. 38 Special. See how this compares. Let's go take a look. All right, so we are definitely seeing a significant difference between the two of these here. We got expansion with both. Our 380 ACP we're right at 12¼ inches, so we did meet our minimum, and we got some expansion. So I think this is why a lot of people have been requesting that I test like the Hornady American gunner. They say it performs well, and I can see why. You know, you're doing more of a controlled expansion, so you can hit that 12-inch minimum. Our 38 Special, we have a ton more damage there. We are at right at about 18 to 18¼ inches expansion. Clear Ballistics is a little bit less dense than straight gel as well, or organic gel I should say. So anytime I get within basically stopping in that first block, I am not concerned about over penetration. So within 19 inches, I'm fine with that. Looks pretty good. So let's put on our MDF and put on our Denim and see how these compare that way. All right, with our Denim and our MDF, here's our 380 ACP. Try 38 Special now. All right, 38 Special, same thing. Denim MDF, let's see what it does. Take a look. All right, so we see some differences there. I was expecting that, 100% expecting it to hit that second block, get a little bit too much penetration. So what we got with our 380 ACP, I don't see any expansion whatsoever. Just shy of 17 inches. But we have good damage in there. It looks like the bullet is backwards. Potentially, I'm not really sure yet. It looks like it's backwards. So that means going through this, it started to tumble a little bit. And this sometimes will tell us that, but it's not really here. They're going through straight, so our tumbling did start after going through our MDF, so we did not get expansion up in here. Some bullets do, but with the XTPs they're a little bit hard, so I'm not really surprised that we didn't get it there. So yeah, 17 inches, no expansion, but that's the compromise you kind of got to make. Now when we're looking at our 38 Special, more like 20½ inches. And I don't see expansion there either. Looks backwards, looks like we tumbled. But overall, it's not bad. We both of those had about the same amount of damage. It's just that our 38 Special, I guess, over penetrated. However, that being said, you know, that 18 inches max is with organic gel, and we're at 21 inches, or about 20 and a half, something like that. And people are usually a lot bigger nowadays. You know, when I typically see things that I would consider over penetration, I see like 9mm that didn't expand, that passed through out the back of the block. I'll see stuff like that. When I see stuff like this, I still consider that acceptable, even though it failed in some respect. So I would say both of these are adequate. So let me shoot at my steel and see what kind of practical accuracy I can get now. All right, I decided to come back for 40 yards, just kind of split the difference with what I normally do. Just kind of see what I get from 40 yards, you know. Never know when you might need to take a shot from 40 yards, specifically 40 yards. So let's see what I can get here with my M&P 380 ACP. See how this does for me. Wow. I don't know where that went or how I missed that. A few more rounds here. I brought one mag back. Top this thing off. Keep going. I don't think I can make a headshot from here, but why not try? So we'll see what I get. Go up a little more. Well, that was a little bit ambitious. So 38 Special. Wow. I don't know where that went. That's odd. All right, let me aim low. The only thing I think of is they're jumping up. So let me aim below the target. Huh. Center mass. All right. I'm assuming they're mostly shooting left because I don't see any impacts to the right of the target. I get a lot of people always telling me that I should be shooting single action because it's more accurate. I disagree. It's something I would have said when I first started shooting. And the truth is, if you're taking one shot and one shot only, let's say you're hunting, you will be more accurate by going single action and taking one shot, such as this. I'm going to take one shot. I have no intentions of taking a second shot. Put in single action, I focus, I let off the trigger push on the trigger really light. But the problem with that, I'm just going to add a little bit of my opinion here in this ballistic test. Let me unload this real quick. Is that when you go to take a shot single action, whether you're using, your support thumb to cock that hammer, or even worse, breaking your grip and using your strong hand, what it does is you might make one accurate shot because you're used to pushing with your pad of your finger, and that might be easier than double action. But what happens is you're doing that, well, you're breaking it and you have to put your hands back to where they were. When you go double action, you just put your finger a little bit deeper on that trigger so that the trigger press is easier. And then once you've got that position, if you're making multiple shots, your hand should not really be moving unless it has so much recoil that it knocked your grip around. That's my main point there with that. So let me load up and keep shooting. So my point is, anybody that's really serious about defense with a revolver, they're going to be firing multiple shots. If you're going to be firing multiple shots, just not even the timing that it takes to cock it, but just the hand position thing should be something, the main reason why you're shooting double action. All right, so I know I rambled a little bit about stuff that had nothing to do with this test. Case ejection with Underwood, I will say, is really good because they use a nickel plating that is not standard nickel plating. I can't remember what they call it, but it is actually tougher and stronger and stretches less and is smoother than typical nickel plating. So it generally ejects from your revolver really well. So I will say, when it comes to Underwood 38 Special, they're probably one of the best brands for 38 Special. Because when you get Underwood, you get that nice nickel plating, you get rounds that are as powerful as Buffalo Bore when you're talking 38. And they're very specific about their bullets. It'll say XTP, or it'll say bonded, indicating gold dot, or it'll say extreme defender, or whatever. Underwood, when it comes to 38 Special, is one of the best 38 Special brands out there, and they're pretty affordable. But when we're talking 380 as well, Underwood is very good. It's a little bit better than Buffalo Bore in a lot of regards. So when it comes to semi-auto. So what I'm going to say here specific about this ammo is both of them seem to do pretty good. Nothing really stood out about this. The only thing that really stood out was there's a lot of recoil with that 38 Special. I'm shooting through this gun. I believe this thing weighs something like 22 or 24 ounces, something like that. It pretty much felt like a 357 Magnum. Not quite, but almost. So the recoil differences were substantial. Felt like shooting a 357 with that, shooting a 380 through this pistol. It kind of felt like shooting a 22 Magnum. So there's a big difference there. So our terminal performance is kind of similar, but our internal ballistics is significantly different between the two of these. So what I would say is that between the two of these, I would say the 380 won this test when we're talking compact guns, about 3-inch to 4-inch barrel size, like 3-inch revolver versus about a 4-inch barrel semi-auto. We're talking guns like this. I'm going to say the 380 did a little bit better because we got just about everything we need. Just just a little bit of everything we needed. And we didn't over penetrate. We got enough penetration, got a little bit of expansion when there's no denim in the way. So I'd say it's just good enough, and we have that real low recoil. And with our 38 Special, it did, I guess, better, but what I'm trying to say is it was more than twice as difficult to shoot. So considering that, I would say the 380 won this one if we were gonna put it in a competition. So that's what you get today with our Underwood high performance rounds, I guess is what you'd call them. They don't say that, but that's what I think of when I think of Underwood. They're always pushing the limits. So XTP versus XTP, that's what you get in our compact guns, 38 Special+P versus 380 ACP. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.